Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the X4 Beginners Guide. Now today we are going to discuss the economy campaign. As promised, I'm going to give you an alternative to the war campaign, but still enjoying the game just the same as you would do if you wanted to go to war. But if you'd rather do it where you're making plenty of money and you're taking over the map in that terms, then this is what this is going to concentrate on. Now there's a couple of things we want to point out beforehand. You want to preferably aim for a system first that is uncontrolled by anybody else, which Nepelia's fortune happens to be so. You can see it's all grey outlined. It is not taken over by anybody. Now, if you don't have that, that's not a problem. It's going to be a little bit harder because as soon as you start going into a system and not paying taxes, then you're going to start lowering your reputation down with that faction. So make sure you choose a faction you're not really bothered about losing to. Now, there are a couple up here, but these areas here are quite close to the Xenon, so I'd advise against these areas first, but you can do if you want to. Now, one thing to comment on, I am moving my fleet down from here. It's not really protected anything up there, it's quite a busy system, so we're now moving them down to where we're about to take over somewhere, which is around here. I'm going to be placing my station in this area here because then it's close by to a jump point, it's close by to a highway, so we can get plenty of speed when it comes to doing some stuff. We're going to need a few bits and bobs once we've had the station built, but right now we're not going to waste our money on building ships when we don't have a station. We can earn some more credits, hopefully get bigger ships, better ships, you know, like bigger trade ships and stuff like that. Not only that, but there really is only two systems that are unoccupied before you're into friendly territory. This is classed as friendly territory for us because everything is green or blue. You know, there's no red territories or anything like that that it has to pass through. These areas here, obviously, in the war mission we're going against, but in this, we're not currently targeting them. We are currently in this area, near this area here, so this might be our first target to take over. However, there's a couple of things, again, that we need to comment on. The first one being, if you click on any system, so you click here, and then you decide you want to build into here, but you click on plots, everything disappears. The one thing it does do is it remembers what you've last clicked on, and gives you a map of that system, which isn't the best map in the world, but you can pretty much figure out what it is. You zoom out, it gives you an area. It's a little finicky on things like that. To get around that, all you do is if you zoom out, click on a ship. You must have a ship in the system. Click onto a ship that's in the system currently. I have these two scouting it all out so we get a good vision. And then click on manage plot. And as you can see, even though it's disappeared and the hexagon's not in the right place, it still gives you the entire area. So now we want to get our new plot. Since this is our new plot where we're going to be taking over economy, we want to start building 10 by 10s. The reason why you can now do the 10 by 10 by 10 is because when we create the plot, like so, place it in the area we want to place it, like so, you can see we no longer need to buy a license. Because this area has been unoccupied, there's nothing that we have to pay for. So we're going to go ahead and press that. We're then going to assign ourselves a builder. So if we zoom out and we go to somewhere like here, we'll get one that's nearby. That one's nearby, we'll use that one there. Right click and select that one. We've now got our builder. We now need to manage buy offers needed. Now again, if we try and stop them from buying stuff from anybody but ourselves, we'll never build the station. Because the energy credits are the only one we're currently building. So what you can do is you can now select, take that off there and go, only my property may trade. That means now that we will only gather from our own system for energy cells. The rest are all just normal. We then need to obviously look at our finances once we've built our station. Now this station is massive, a large area. If you have a look at what our biggest piece was, which was a 3-tier dock, you can see it is absolutely huge. Now what you can do is you can now start looking at whether or not you want to place your station, you know, how you want to place your stuff. So what I want to do is I want to basically place this in the lowermost corner. So if you go to the corner like so, rotate it around, you're now getting the up and down vision there. So if you now bring it up and down, and I'm going to bring it to about here, and then going to hopefully bring it in. May not be quite in just yet. Get in there. You just need to move around a few bits and pieces. There we go. Come on. Bring you in. Take a minute to... And apparently that's not giving us anything at all. Let's just cancel that off. Oh, nope, I didn't want to do that. Go back to our build. Go to our dock. Being a funny bugger, so we'll just place the dock in like so. We'll get it nice and tight into the corner here. Close as we can to that. Close as we can to that. That's as close as it can be. What I now want to do is I want to get myself a basic, you know, a basic one. So I can have one medium, 6 small, and then I'm going to place a second one. And I'm going to place a second one like that, and I'm going to later place a third one, and maybe a few more as well. But hopefully we'll unlock some larger ones, so then we can actually not have to have loads all over the place. But we'll come to that at a later stage. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to place a cross here. The reason why I can do that is I can now go up and down or backwards. At first, I'm just going to go ahead and go backwards. So we're going to click on that and rotate it around. And then it should just snap for us. And then I'm going to place another cross. Now that is completely away from there. So if I now place another lengthy piece, like so. Now, of course, we're only using basic stuff at the moment. So we haven't got like the double length and stuff like that, which would place us nice and flush with that. But it's not a problem. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place a connector there. And a connector there. Now we need to decide what we're going to do.
My ship is being scanned.
The first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start looking at building storage along this level here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop down using the vertical connector, which seems to not want to play. There we go. So it's connected to the right piece there. Oh. I'm going to go up first. No preference on which way you want to go. Just place it whichever way you like. Go ahead and just up there. Go. And I'm going to place another cross section. Hard to see there. Come on, play for me. There we go. Okay, now you can start placing some storage. The first thing I'm going to start putting in is solid storage. So all along this section here is going to be solid storage. Now obviously there's not much room there, but you can stack them up if you want to by simply placing another cross section at the top there, like so. When it goes in the right way, got another cross section, and then we can place more storage. Now remember, these are only small storages, so they're not the best thing in the world. We're playing still with very low level stuff. So we've got 4 storage. We're now going to start thinking about what else we want to do. Now, I want to get some gases going. So I'm going to get a liquid. I'm going to get a liquid and I'm going to get some containers. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to place a cross section against this here when it plays, like so. They're not connecting. Won't connect. Thank you. Then I'm going to see if I can place a liquid storage. And it does. And it goes in nicely. Nice and flush. Looks good. We're then going to place another cross section in. It's a bit weird because you don't put your cursor directly where you want stuff. You have to go fiddle around. It is a little annoying, but it's a minor inconvenience. So again, we'll place 4 liquid. Oh, that's the wrong place to put that one. Go. We've got 4 storage and 4 solid and 4 liquid. Now we need containers, so we'll then place container. Now I want to try and place more containers because I don't want to wait. I don't know where that put that. Can't see it anywhere. Don't think that placed it down. Come on. Go. 2. Is that right there? No, it's not right there. 3. And 4. Now I'm going to place just the 4 for now so we can get going, but I will put 4 more in the end there as well. Again, we're still in a small area, still got plenty of space to do stuff. I'm going to leave this area here for storage because I want to expand it at a later stage because what we're going to be building is a lot of stuff. But obviously we haven't really got much room for stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place a base module. Again, we'll rotate it around because it won't connect otherwise. Come on, where are you? In a little bit of a bugger today. Come on. Go. Rotate you around like so. And it should just snap because it's really the only place it can go to, which is underneath there. Then I'm going to place a second piece. We can pull our way out there like so. Oh, you're not quite turned enough. There you go. Oh, you actually will connect. Okay, we can connect you back. Okay. I'm going to place another cross section. Now, you can use this as kind of like your storage area down here or whatever, but all I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place an energy cell. The reason why I'm going to do that is just so it can produce itself some energy cells and not worry about things. Now, it won't actually fit the energy cells in. What you can do is you can place a cross section, or you can place, always go this way. So we do a baseline and a cross section there. Then rotate this back around like so, and then click it. Needs a little bit more rotation. There we go. And rotate it. So we now got ourselves some energy production at the base itself. Split off here, cross to here. Now, first thing I'm going to do is refine metals, water, and graphene, and I'm just going to do them 3 for now. We go ahead and what you're basically going to do is get your modules out. Now this is totally down to yourselves, whatever you want to put on here. I'm just giving you an idea of the kind of layout that I'm going to go for. Place another section there. As a matter of fact, if you delete that, remove. Now you see when you highlight things, what you're actually doing is telling it to copy whatever you're highlighting. So if I go there, right click, copy sequence, I then get the same sequence. I can then do the same again, copy sequence with all 4, and place 4 on. Now the way I do it is I tend to use these cross sections as my way of putting things on. So if I want to do more water, I'll place it on them points there. I'll then rotate it around slightly, like so. Then I can place my second one next to it. And again, just so it looks kind of cool, I'll rotate it around. Not clipping anything. You can clip stuff with them, but they just don't look as good. So I'll tend to not clip them. So we'll start off with 4 water, which will fill up our area here. Like so. Push to a little bit more. Our 4th water there. Now the system we're in may not have ice. That's not a problem because hopefully the thing we place on will collect ice. Now, graphene will only go from above, and refined metals will only go from above. So these lower ones here are absolutely useless for connection. But don't worry because there are ones that will connect. That one doesn't. That one doesn't. But there are some later on that do connect from below. And you can do some other stuff with that as well. You can like drop down and do another 4 line again. if you want to. However, we can't do it for this, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another module, and then I'm going to place another one there, and then another one, and that should clear us hopefully. But I'm just going to place one more just so we can pass out a little bit more. Place another section there, another baseline there. So, another cross section. We're going to copy the sequence once and twice. And then I'm going to go to place refined metals. Now again, refined metals, it actually has two connections for refined metals, so I tend to just go for the middle one there. It's a little bit more compact. Obviously, when you twist it around, it looks pretty cool as well. We'll then repeat the same again. Now, what you could have done is you could have actually left all of this off, done this for one, then obviously copied the one, done it again and again and again if you want. But I like to make it so they all look slightly different when you're rotating around. They don't look perfectly uniformal because sometimes they just slightly clip if they're uniformal. That looks pretty cool. You can see they're just slightly off, which is good for me. Now, some of these actually have two connection points. You can see these have connection points underneath as well on that side, and they obviously have the one that they're already connected on. The water doesn't. The water has got none underneath, so just put that in mind when you're building your stuff, as some of them do have multiple connection points. So, what I'm now going to do is I'm actually going to fill up the space here because we've got all this dead space doing nothing. And if I put a graphene collector there, or graphene production, should I say, you can see it's not clipping anything. So I'm happy with that. I'm then going to place another one here and another one here, like so. Again, these have multiple connection points. You can see there's a connection point there or there. You can use that to connect other stuff to it, but obviously it's too close there. 3 will do just fine now, and that's pretty good build up there. Now, the only other thing we've got is we can't do any defense modules, we can't do any habitat modules, and we can't do a build module. So the only other thing we haven't done is meat. Now, we can look at doing meat if we want to, and what I'll do is I'll just place a single meat there. That takes up that gap. Now, what we could have actually done, let's just see if we can fit 2 meats together. We put one on one side and one on the other side. We can, so we've got 2 together there. There's absolutely rampacked full of everything we can do, and we've still got all this space here. Now, we're going to set this up. We'll confirm the module changes. We'll also do... where are we? You can shuffle the modules, by the way, if you want to. If you shuffle it, it'll paste it all in a random location. You can also save your plan if you want to. You can reset your views. You can undo stuff. And you can also export a construction plan or import a construction plan. We can now confirm your module changes. Like so. I'm not going to do anything else with it because we haven't got anything else we can really do with it. We can't do weapon turrets and stuff like that yet. But this factory is going to make us plenty of money, hopefully, because there's a lot of things it can do. So let's go ahead and, first of all, continue. We'll then go to this section here. It's going to need 10 million to build this. Since we don't have 10 million, it won't let us accept the estimate because it's going to take all of our money. If you run your system completely dry, you're not going to be able to do much because we're relying on some of this money to go to trades and stuff like that. So what I tend to say is just drop it by 1 million for now, or so, like so. So 7 million is absolutely fine. It'll get the system going. You also got to make note that it's also using the price of the energy cells that you need. So just set that like that. And it's now going to start, as you can see, resources available in build storage. So it's now saying it's got things coming in. Electronics and hull parts are being collected by other parties, so no problems there. The problem we're going to have is our energy cells, because we're going to have to rely on one of our ships to bring the energy cells over. So you've got to just make sure we've got that set. We'll do that in a short while. But we've got to set ball rolling. We've got plenty of hull parts coming in, 3,000 and 1,100. So hopefully this is going to start. Once you've got your dock, your 2 smaller docks, all the section here, it's going to do all the storage first. And then when it starts producing things that are producing resources, your production modules, then we can start looking at doing some other stuff. So we're going to go ahead now. This is going to take quite a while. So it's 20 minutes just for the TP here. So do this and then go over to doing something else. So we're going to leave that there for now. You can do your logistical station overview if you want. It'll tell you what you're going to need. So we now need something to collect ice, something to collect methane, something to collect ore, and if you want to, something to collect energy cells as well. Now, we'll probably stock up on energy cells from our energy cell creation or from the other station, and then the station itself should be able to just top that up a little bit. Now, the likelihood is you're not going to be able to keep up with it with just the one energy cell production, so you're then going to have to go back to your station to pick up more. But that station is doing nothing anyway. It's not selling all of its storage, so we've got plenty to use. Energy cells creates meat along with water, which we can create our own water from ice. Which then gives you, when I can scroll across, meat production. We can sell meat production, which then can be used in things like rations. Methane and energy cells creates graphene, or and energy cells create refined metals. These two, plus the water here, can all be sold separately, but some of that water is going to be needed for meat. So just keep an eye out on that. Once you've got yourself your manager, you can set it so it'll automatically keep an amount in stock. You can set that, and I'll go through all that with you once we've got it all set up. That might not be this episode because we're already quite a ways in with building the station, but I don't want to miss anything, so you guys can see what we're building and then the kind of thought process behind stuff. So I apologize if you've seen the station builds and you don't really want to see them again, but I want to show you what we're working with to then go on to doing something else. Right, well, the station is now done. It's now going to start building. We're obviously waiting for some supplies, so we can now head on out of there. Click object list. We've got our fleet moving in. It's asking to collect a lockbox. I'm not really bothered about that, but our fleet's on its way in, so we'll have ourselves some protection once it arrives, just in case we do find any enemies in the area. It looks like our ships have cleared the system, or have we cleared the system because we've put a factory in? I haven't actually seen that before. It looks like we've cleared the system because of the factory being in. That's not a problem. Let's just close the map just in case that's a bug. Nope, it has cleared the system. That's the first time I've noticed that. There you go. Once you've built something like that, you've cleared the whole sector and you can see it all. But it's not showing me resources, so let's see if we've got any resources in our elite vanguard. Let's just cancel you out. Remove orders. Right click, deploy at position. No civilian deployables on board. That's not a problem. Have you got any deployables? No civilian deployables. No civilian deployables. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send one of these over to collect some deployables. Right click in there, upgrade, repair at. Then I'm going to go to consumables. And I'm going to go for some. We'll go, how much money have we got? We've got 1.5 million, so I'll go for 10 advanced satellites. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to make sure I've got a crew, which I do. I have able crew bodies, excellent. I don't have any marines, I don't need any marines. Can we get any more? No, we're at maximum. So one of these can go onto the station when we're done. We'll get a few resource probes as well. We'll get 20 resource probes so we can place them down. How much were there? About 1 million there, so that'll do. We'll confirm the order. So that ship will now go to upgrade. We'll now cancel out its previous orders. So because I didn't cancel this first, it's just going to be a little bit of a pain to remove all these orders, but it's not a problem. It's easy enough. We've removed all orders now, so we'll just go ahead and reset it to do what I wanted it to do in the first place. Consumables, 10 advanced satellites, 20 resource probes. Let's head on out. Add to shipping list. And that actually was slightly cheaper, so it's worthwhile waiting. Okay, so it's going to head on out. Now I'm almost certain there's resource patches in this area and it's not showing up now, so that might be a bit of a problem. It's not an issue. It'll hunt for other stuff. But let's go ahead and get ourselves set up, ready to go for... Now let's have a look and see how you're doing. Where is your... Have you got... Trade offers? You got any subordinates? Okay, it does look like we've actually not got one set up. So what I'm going to build, we'll build a medium. Actually, can we build a medium freighter? Frigate, gunboat, miner, transport. Okay, can we build one of these? Flight loadout. We'll just do a minimum preset for now. Got enough money for that. Go ahead and confirm that. Oh. Well, it does have. Well, it already has one. Who are you assigned to? Assigned to the reach or refine. Ah, right. Okay, so no, you're not assigned to this. Oh, it has got. It should property own. Alpha group. There it is. Sorry, I'm having a bit of a moment there. Let's go ahead and set you up. We will transfer words from here. Station wanted. Why saying it wants that many, but we'll take as many as we can out of that. And then we'll go ahead and we'll just manually drop it to here. Trade word, transfer words. And we are set, ready to go. So that's going to be as many of our energy cells as we need. So everything's set up, ready to go. That station needs to build itself. We need to just double check on our resources with the reach. We'll go to our managed funds. We have no requirement for that. We've made 1 million credits on our station account, so we'll accept the estimate. As it's saying we only need 1.1 million. I try and keep the estimate for operating budget just in case it needs that money. Because even though it's not going to need 1.1 million at any one time, it's going to need to fluctuate. So it gives it that little bit of a flow, so to speak, or a float. They call them a float, you know, with tills and stuff like that. It's exactly the same for your stations, so just bear that in mind. We're actually doing really well with his skill as well. He's already on a 2.5, nearly 3 star there. He's got 4 subordinates. Storage is full. So before we finish off here, we can have a look. It's got a maximum amount of refined metals, which is good. We're still only using ore and energy cells from our own faction, so we're not having to rely on anybody else. We've got a nice budget. We've almost got a maximum amount of drones. We can actually increase that, so we can go ahead and just give it more drones. Give it a few defense drones, and then we'll give it... There we go. We're maxed out on the drones there. We got trade wars. Worry about that. Our economy statistics, so we can see that we've got refined metals sell order. So we're actually dropping down on our sell order. It's quite trade offer prices. So it's actually dropping the price of the refined metals, but we should still be making a good profit. We're selling quite a lot. Our storage levels have been nice and accurate, which is good. Nice and consistent, should I say. A few times we've dropped down, but no issues with that. And our management account's been growing quite nicely. We just got the dip where we just obviously withdrew that money. So there we have it. That's going to be the start of the whole part of this economy. We've got this station here. I'm going to now cut here. We're going to call it as for this episode. You've seen the station being built. You've seen a couple of bits, seen a couple of tips on how to get that station block going there. And you've also seen how to get a station in without having to pay for a license as well. Look for these little grey areas. I need to confirm and double check that this hasn't got anything in the system. I was under the impression it did have. Our fleet's arrived, so we can now set the fleet to protect. think I selected the right one there. I did, yes. So it'll now protect our station, so we've got no problems while we're in slight enemy territory. We're not in an enemy territory, but we're also not in a friendly territory either. So we're protected. We've got a fleet there. It should keep us going. So that's going to be it for this episode. Hopefully you've learned a few bits and bobs. I'm sorry it's a little bit long and a little bit long-winded building a station, but as I say, I really want to show you everything as we move along. It's going to get a lot more hectic as we start getting more of these stations up and running. And it's going to be a little harder to get control of things. So I'm going to show you a few little tricks on how to continue to grow your empire nice and steady. Oh, looks like we've got a raiding party as well. Our fleet's already moving in to protect. This is why when you're building a station at this level, you really need a some sort of protection, because this station is completely undefended, and you're getting a lot of trade ships in the area, so it's perfectly timed. Because there's a lot of these around, you're going to attract raiding parties. So these guys are attacking it. Good. Now, obviously, if you lose your builder and stuff like that, then it's a pain in the ass because you got to get a new builder. These also go, and you sometimes lose your money as well. Just an absolute pain, but we should be able to take it out nice and easy. So that's going to be it for this episode. Hopefully you've learned something new, or at least you've been refreshed or recapped on. Let me know in the comment section if you've got any suggestions, questions, or any ideas at all, or if there's anything I can do to help you. I always try and respond to everybody, but until next time, take care for now, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.